Actually, it's been now a little bit more than a year and a half, but it feels like I've been in Belgrade for much longer. I think that this has to do with first the intensity and the rhythm of our work, but also I think it's also due to the fact that in a way I feel a little bit at home when I'm in Belgrade. It only takes this particular smell we have in old buildings, for example in Stari Grad in Vračar, which is very identical to what I have experienced, for example in Sofia or in Skopje, where I used to live 10 years ago. Or, for example, the smell of lipe, the basswood trees. Like, I'm very lucky to have them in my street now in Belgrade, and this immediately brings me and transports me back to my childhood and brings very positive memories. So I would say that there is already a strong emotional attachment to Belgrade. Well, this is actually one of the things that I like the most about Belgrade and Serbia in general. It's the richness of its cultural and artistic life, and it's also one of my, I would say, nearly daily challenges, how to square all the cultural and artistic temptations with my family obligation and the professional commitments, as often my job goes beyond the usual 9 to 5. I really think that Serbia has a lot to offer in this respect, and it's also not a surprise that you are among the most successful users of our Creative Europe program, which is the main engine of support for creative and artistic industries in Europe. I mean, thanks to this, there are many award-winning Serbian films which have been produced, like Otac, Nečista krv, Strahinja, Leto kad sam se naučila da letim. We're also supporting numerous annual cultural gatherings like Fest, Bell Dogs, Belgrade Dance Festival, Nišville, and the list is very long. So whenever I can, I do attend these events with great pleasure. Well, I'm particularly fond of your mountains. From those that I have visited, I would say that maybe Tara is my favorite. But also I have on my list as next to explore is Rtanj. And so I'm really keen and looking forward to discover more of the natural beauty of Serbia. And I really think that this is something that you need to cherish, preserve and promote. And we're really trying to support your efforts in this regard with various instruments and programs, by offering, for example, technical assistance to the Serbian authorities, but also making sure that your legislation is in line with European standards. And I think this is really important so that we have a more sustainable and greener future for our children. Okay, that's a difficult one. First, because I'm a little bit of a foodie myself, and second, because I'm coming from a neighboring country, so I think that our gastronomical traditions are very, very close. And although the names and the shapes may differ a little bit, essentially there is a lot in common. We also have sarbe, kačamak, we call gibanica banica, and čebapija kebapi, but essentially we're talking about very similar dishes. One dish that I can think of, which I'm not sure, I don't think that we have in Bulgaria, which I discovered during my previous posting in Montenegro, and I think that it's also a traditional dish here. It's cicvara, which I think is the perfect dish after a long day of skiing. I think that a lot is being done, but of course we can do so much more together. And when you say to Europeans, I think that we also need to accept the basic premise that Serbia is already a European country. I think that nobody challenges its Europeanness, and we should not. We can do so much more to promote success stories of Serbia, for example, in its sports or cultural or scientific achievements. Recently, for example, we brought journalists from member states, and to showcase some of the innovation projects that you're doing, we brought them to the fantastic Bioscience Institute. And I think this is the type of news I would personally like to see more often in international media. And the other element of this story is that I would also like to see more positive news about the European Union here. I think that very often we tend to reduce the European Union to very sensationalist titles, and we don't talk about the big picture. And the big picture ultimately is the common European future of our children. So I really need to think that we can focus and do more together on this.